Red Cone, what's up? A1 Black, what's happening, bro? Dre, where you at? Hey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Skool and the Gang podcast, coming at you live and direct from Stevie J's Sports and Cut here at 6400 West Plano Parkway, 75093 here in the west side of Plano. We got a nice panel here tonight. I have some familiar faces and we got some new faces in here tonight. To my immediate left, I have a shining star amongst us. A beautiful young lady that we've known for quite some time here around the shop. And she's a podcaster herself, and we invited her to bring her perspective to our podcast today. Allow us to introduce Miss Rose.
Hey, y'all. It's me.
To her left is our resident personality, Mr. Cedric Mitchell, a.k.a. the Blind Sensation.
Hey, I will say hi to the rest of the world, but hell, I'm just going to say hello. That's period. That's all you get today out of me.
And to the left of Mr. Mitchell is one of my compadres, one of my day-to-day battle brethren here in the barbershop. That's Mr. Don Juwan Baker, a.k.a. Debonair.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Well, we want to start today's show off with somewhat of a tribute. This one is it's a tribute that we're going to turn into a conversation. This week we lost a celebrity, athlete, and one of the most infamous people in this country's history. We lost Mr. O.J. Simpson this week. And for those that are not old enough to truly understand who O.J. Simpson was, he's a complex individual and person. But for those of us that are old enough to know, we know that at one point in time, this man was revered like no other in this country. You know, a great football player from California, from San Francisco, California, actually. Played at USC, played in the NFL for the Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers. But beyond that, he actually became, after football was over with, he became a television personality, hosting Monday Night Football. I think he may have been the first black actual host on Monday Night Football, as well as national commercials for the Hertz Rent-A-Car Company. You know, growing up, you see OJ running through the airport with that luggage, jumping over stuff. You know, as a little kid, that had an imprint on me because he was everything you looked up to as an athlete. He was cool, he was handsome, you know, everybody liked him, and he was a really good football player. So that's my root of knowing who OJ was. Now, it turns complex because as he gained in popularity and celebrity throughout his life, he shunned the black community. You know, he was a polarizing figure in the black community because he pretty much shunned the black existence to go and live amongst the elite and the white. Now, not really understanding that as a kid, you don't look at it and take it in the same way. And it really kind of faded from conscious because you just really didn't see him involved in things that pertain to black people until he got in trouble in 1995 and his ex-wife and her friend got killed and he was blamed for those murders. And what happened to him was he wound up becoming a man with no country, meaning the white regime that he had went to join and become a part of and that had assimilated and allowed him to become a part of them, they shunned him. Once they lost a white woman and a Jewish man, they were done with him. So he was left to turn back to those that he had shunned, the black community, when he was looking for allies in this fight he had coming. And we as black people, being who we are, we're the most forgiving race there is on this planet. We took him back in, downtrodden as he was, with all the stuff hanging over his head and the possibilities of bad happening to him. We embraced him again. All right, OJ, come on back.
I'm not black, I'm OJ.
You know what I'm saying? Words he said, not us.
Come on, nigga. Come on.
So when he went through, so when the trial came and, you know, it drew a line in the sand in this country. You know, they may admit it or they may not, but it was drawn along the racial lines. White people, you know, they wanted justice for Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman, and black people, we wanted justice for O.J. Simpson. Now, what black people had for the first time was we had somebody that was going against the system that actually had the money to fight. Most times we've always had, you know, regular working class people caught up against the system, and you know you're gonna always lose. If you don't have no money, you don't even get a chance to fight.
And it would have been unheard. Like, well,
But
nobody would have known.
For a celebrity, a popular, a person of fame and notoriety that was black and had the money to actually fight the charges levied against him, we were like, okay, we're gonna see how this play out. Now we have no wins in the court of public opinion or the halls of justice, so we looking for that win.
Yeah, it didn't matter if he did it or didn't.
We stood behind
It
him
didn't matter.
regardless of that. We stood behind OJ, and because we wanted to see the court system actually work out in favor for a black man. Whether he was wrong or whether he did it or didn't do it, we drew those lines, you know, in the sand. We behind OJ. And when he was found not guilty, that line that was drawn in the sand was widened into a divide. Now you had even further apart, you had the white side that were appalled that this black dude got off killing these white people. And you had black people over here celebrating and rejoicing because we finally got a win. Once again, irregardless of whether he did it or not.
You would have thought he became president. After they said that, you would have thought he became president.
We wanted OJ just to get off. That's all we wanted. We wanted to get that win. And when he did that, you know, disbelief, joy, vengeance, all of those were feelings that rolled through our community, while on the other side, disbelief, anger, and hatred flowed for that man and anybody that chose to speak out against what they were saying. So it really was a polarizing time in this country because they hated OJ. And they still, you know, to his death, and even now after his death, the populace in this country still hate that man. You know, he went through other things and other tribulations after that trial, but that trial made him a polarizing figure so much that when he went to jail like 8 or 9 years later for something else, they gave him the time for the murders on the other case because they had to get that get back.
Then it's taking back his memorabilia.
Yeah, he
robbed their ass back.
For you to go to,
they took his shit, he took it back.
Yeah.
For you to go to jail for commandeering your own things, that's crazy.
Wasn't something with jaywalking too? He got like
he had several run-ins with the law. OJ had
and then that book.
several other run-ins where
Just
he
like,
kind of put himself in.
Yeah.
Where if you got off on what he got off on, you'll probably lay low.
You
Like, you know what? They let me make it. I'ma go on just chill.
If I did do it.
OJ was
Sir.
like, fuck it, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Right, y'all let me make
This
it.
how I would have did it. Like, sir, sit
But
down.
he was, it's funny, Mike. I want to say something as I go back to listening to what you mentioned in regards to OJ's complexities, and you're right, because unfortunately there's so many black people that, of course, have not reached the status and never will have the meteoric rise that this man has. Okay, he became a household brand name, but they all suffer from what many scientists and clinicians call imposter syndrome. You follow me?
Say that.
And when that becomes a part of it, there is a understanding that is an unspoken rule, and that is they remind you in so many ways, we can always send you back to that place where you came from that many people find to be undesirable. And then by him being, once, not only was he suffering from imposter syndrome, but because he was who he was, he became a commodity, right? And just like going into business, you're not going to cut the hair of a person who can't pay you. You understand where I'm coming from? So he sold himself. He did like so many other people do. He sold himself in the sense of, hey, I've got to continue on moving forward. Obviously, I love my people, because if you really look at him, you can see he's black and black through and through. You understand what I'm talking about? Never mind what the hell he say, okay?
Yeah.
But I got to sell this line. But the biggest problem that I had with the whole O.J. Simpson saga is the damn police never entertained another possible theory. They went with a rush to judge, never mind the fact that his daughter, who was a child at the time, said that the men who my mommy was arguing with was not my daddy. If I asked all of y'all to raise your hand in here and tell me how many of y'all love your mama, everybody raised their hand resoundingly. Children adore their mother. They love their father. If mama killed daddy, I might still have something to do with mama, because daddy was an asshole anyway. But if daddy kills mama in the way that he killed her, that's unforgiving. The fact that he was able to go home to her spoke volumes. The fact that other than hearsay, they never produced anything, nor did they even much say that, wait a minute, is it a possibility that Nicole was not the intended target? Because it's pretty strange. I'm at my house, and when you show up, we both get killed.
Yeah.
That makes me wonder, so was the killer just waiting outside?
So was it a Colombian necktie? Like, was that the...
They've got so many theories as it relates to that crime.
It was inspected so
Yeah.
poorly. It was
Yeah,
so
it
much
was a
Colombian
like
necktie. Was that-
contamination.
She didn't get the necktie, but when you watch the 30 for 30 that they did on it, that was one of the best 30 for 30s. They did the 30 for 30, and they showed the pictures. What it looked like was she was cut so viciously across the throat that her head almost came off from the back. They didn't deliberately pull the tongue out through the laceration, but that the wound across the throat was so big that if you had put her head backwards, it would have been hanging, barely hanging on.
Yeah,
So
she
it was
been
a
hanging on by
gruesome.
some
It was a gruesome undertaking, and there was blood everywhere, so you could really see that it was a.
Now, here's something that I'm about to say now. It's funny you mention that. I worked in the court system for almost 11 years, right? And certain crimes reach certain category statuses. The way he was killed, he was stabbed repeatedly, a number of times. To me, that's indicative of a crime of passion. That brings me to say, was Ronald Goldman gay, number one, and was he being trailed by his lover, number two, who could have possibly saw Nicole as being who Ron threatened to leave him for? We never explored that. See, when you start talking about a crime of this magnitude, with this kind of, implications behind it, you got to really look at all the pieces on the board. But this country is now and always has been so pulverized by race. Yeah. Right now, we got a man right now who is running for president who has done everything except, in his words, I could shoot somebody and get away with it. He's done everything except that. And still, white folks will give him the benefit of the doubt. On my way here, I was just reading some stuff that had me scratching my head. And I don't want to deviate, but as I look back at the O.J. Simpson scenario, there's a part of me that really hurts for O.J., right? Because O.J. was a black man. He was trying to feed his family, and he was doing what the Bible always told us. Use your gift. Your gift will make room for you and usher you among the greats. You understand what I'm talking about? But he was accused of one thing, and it forever changed the trajectory of his or the course of his career for the rest of his life. And that's no different than you and I. We could walk out there today, and something could happen. And you know what? People always say, he did it, and he got away with it. See, think about that, folks.
And I think the change is going to come when black people actually stick together. Like, actually literally stick together. White people do this shit all the time. Why you think these motherfuckers are successful? Why you think they got all these businesses and all this other shit that they got going on? They are a community.
See, what we lack is we lack organization.
White people gonna do white people shit. We ain't, look, what we talking about? Village.
A village.
a community.
You gotta have a village.
You gotta have one.
village.
You gotta have a
They
village.
got
a
that
good
shit.
village.
Yeah.
They got that shit already, and
Yeah.
they consistently have that shit. They gonna continue to keep having that shit, and they got the money too to do it. We got the bread. We got the bread too. Like, man, say, black people spend so much money. We could be the 13th largest country in the world.
I can believe that.
13.
Yeah.
13.
Just
Not
black people.
we just in the mix. 13. We gonna be the 13th largest country in the motherfucking world. But guess what we don't do? Stick together.
Well,
spend
it's
our
not
shit,
just
spend our shit with
that.
each other, and also just
Do you not have to give some, I don't know if the word is grace, or just, it's a fact that we were held back systemic, like in every way possible to break up our foundation.
You were taught from a different book.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then every time we did pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, they came and blew up.
tore that shit up.
It was
Tore it
institutionally
up.
designed.
They came
Yeah.
and fired, threw fire through the towns,
Yeah.
raped and pillaged the women,
Yeah.
drowned the city. How many cities are underwater now?
Yeah.
Because they thrived as a black community.
Yeah.
So I mean, more than we even know, besides even all the big ones.
So we on some Malcolm X or we on some Martin Luther?
You need both. You need both. It can't be one.
You
or the
gotta
other.
have both. You have to have
You need
both.
soldiers.
You gotta
and
have
you
a
need
balance. Yeah,
the
you
brains
gotta
of the
have a balance.
operation.
But with that Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, that swing this back to OJ.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When it's in the late '60s, when they had the gathering of the minds with all the black athletes, Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all of those guys got together and spoke out, about the racism that was going on in the country and against the athletes. They were taking a stand. OJ told them, man, look, I ain't getting caught up in that. Things going good for me out here. I'm rolling, I'm balling out here. They loving me. I ain't trying to get caught up in no black power. I'm paraphrasing, but this was the
No, we certainly understand that.
That was expressed to the brother of the brothers. So the brothers was like, they were first. I'm sure they were offended,
Absolutely.
and upset.
They be like, oh,
So they got to the
fuck that
point
nigga,
where they
man.
was like, well, look, bro, just don't speak against what we doing.
Right.
Here. You ain't rolling with us. You ain't
That's
rocking
fine.
with us.
Just don't say
Just
nothing
don't
bad
speak
about
out
us.
against us. You know what I'm saying? And that was kind of
The agreement.
the beginning, not the beginning, but the public beginning of his disassociation with all things and all troubles black. Now he just fresh out the projects in San Francisco. He ain't been gone, a year or two. He fresh out, but they accepted him so that he was like, man, the water and the ice cold over here. I'm through with you, nigga. He began his disassociation immediately. I'm pretty sure the white girls on campus was loving him. You know what I'm saying? Even though he had his first wife was black and his first kids was black kids. Once he got to the snow bunnies, he was like, shit, man, I'm where I've been trying to get to. And he totally and thoroughly disassociated. So like I said, I long held the level of hero worship as a football player. Then I went through he don't even like black people. Well, I don't like him. To where it all came back to where, you know what? Now that he's been humbled and put back on the black side, and I see how upset he makes the other side get when they see him just living his life. I'm back with him because he making them mad just because he's still living his life.
Oh, flip, flop, flip,
Yeah,
flop,
because
flip,
in this
flam.
country, when you're proven, the court system proves you not guilty, you're given the grace that, well, they're not guilty. He wasn't given it. He got a not guilty, but everybody still tried to want to compete like you guilty. So
He got away with it.
Yeah,
That's what it always
It's
is.
always, well, he got away with. Well, once again, that's neither here nor there. By the rules
Like
that you
everybody
laid
else who
out,
got away with it.
by the rules that you laid out and that
Yeah.
you made, he was not guilty.
That's the one thing I do like about OJ is that he got to not say live as a white man's privilege, but live with white man's privilege. They fuck up all the time and then they get to go live their life regular and do whatever they want to do.
It's funny you say that. I talked about that with that boy Kennedy Smith. He raped a woman, William Kennedy Smith. If y'all remember this, back in 1989, it was 1992. I'm sorry, it was proven he raped a woman down there in Florida. You know, the Kennedys got a big old compound down there in Florida, right? He got found not guilty. There's another one up there in Massachusetts. Killed a woman up there in Massachusetts, right? His boy was Edward Kennedy's son. Okay, guess what? He got away with that. Nobody never said a damn thing. So to me, honestly, with the whole O.J. Simpson thing, like I say, if O.J. had done it or was proven to have done it, then maybe I could say, okay, well, if the man did this, then that's what it is. But I'm not about to sit here and say that I believe that O.J. Simpson did what they accused him of. But I am saying, I will say this though, perhaps maybe it was a wake-up call for Black America that he went through that, because it will make the average person say, now, wait a minute, whether he did it or not, he had the money to deal with that. I ain't got that kind of money. But number two, I see how this system plays. There is no presumption of innocence when you're a Black man.
Question, but also question. Morally, y'all think he did it?
Well, quite frankly, if you ask me that, if you're asking me that,
though?
I'm about to answer you. I'm gonna answer you with a categoric no, and I'll back my answer. No, I don't think he did. Now, does he know who did it? There is that possibility. But you got to understand this too. Now, when you stab somebody, that's not a shooting. That's a right up on action type play. You cannot kill two individuals in the manner in which that happened and turn around there and not have nothing but a cut on your finger. Who you is, Bruce Lee? I mean, Ronald Goldman was stabbed, what, 20 times? 20 times, 20 times?
Do I think he did it? No, I always thought it was a crime of passion, and I always thought it was a woman.
Woman did?
Or woman-led, anyway.
So you're not willing to lean to the fact that, may he rest in peace, that there's a possibility Mr. Goldman could have been a homosexual living two lives.
That's always a possibility, sure. That's just what I think. Just because, like you said, how gruesome, just how violent it is, and the hatred.
I'm sending a signal. If I can't listen, if DJ were to unfortunately meet a demise in a way where his genitalia was missing, you would ask, okay, let's put up.
Clark. Shit. Somebody else. Hell no. I like pussy.
If Bob was married to a gigolo and Bob came home, and all of a sudden the next time you see Bob laying in the morgue on the board stiff, but he missing his genitals. He left them somewhere, somebody hacked them off. You're going to see now two things that happen. It's a crime of passion. Either Bob was fooling with a man, and his other man caught him, or his woman caught him with a man. Whatever it was, infidelity was at the root of this crime. When you look at how Ronald Goldman was stabbed, and you count the number of stabs, that's a person saying, I want this to hurt. They're not saying, I'm killing you behind money. When I kill you behind money, I'm going to shoot you, and it's going to be clean and over with. But when I want you to see me,
I want you to suffer.
I want you.
I want to see you take your last breath.
And I say, you know what? I want you to see the barrel jumping from his spot.
Y'all niggas
you understand what I'm talking about?
Y'all niggas got some crazy ass minds.
It's not even their mind.
I'm just saying though, like shit, bro.
Stuff like this has happened.
I don't even. Me with my virgin eyes, I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see that shit.
You're not a
I watch
killer.
a movie and see that shit.
No, you're not. You're not a killer.
You're not a cold-blooded killer.
You're not a killer.
I mean, don't get it twisted.
But see, when you sit around,
let some shit go bad.
But see, when you sit
turn
around,
some shit up around them motherfuckers.
When you sit around with a lot of killers, and you hear the stories, and you hear people turn around and say the things, that's how you think about this guy with Ronald Goldman, whoever it was that took this man's life. And I'm not going to say anything disrespectful to Mr. Goldman or his family, because I don't know none of these individuals.
Yeah.
Whoever took this man's life, this individual wanted Ron Goldman to suffer. Because they stabbed Nicole and killed her quick.
Yeah.
They didn't
got her out
kill
the way.
her. They didn't kill her with the number of lashes they did to him. That person who killed him, he knew that person, and it was personal. Nobody wants to talk about that.
To stab a person more than 50 times, 40 times,
that's
20
a lot.
times.
50 and 40 is a lot.
I'm tired at
10
this
is
point.
a lot.
I'm angry.
I'm tired at this point.
But you're saying, the killer is saying to the rest of the world, I'm angry.
I'm thinking about this,
You
like
agree
your
with that?
mental, like what is going on in your head.
I'm
do
infuriated.
something like
I just told you,
I have
I'm
rage.
angry.
Adrenaline, you can lift a car when you got enough adrenaline.
Yeah, I'm
you
angry.
just going, like
Yeah,
you just
going. Passion, rage.
I don't think my brain can process or
Because
even
you are
go
not
through something like that
cold-blooded
or
killer.
do that.
All of those scenarios are in play once again. You know,
This was so poorly investigated.
because Mr. Simpson was found not guilty. There still has to be the possibility and understanding somebody out there did it. Now, I myself, I think it's possible that he did it. I'm not gonna say he did it because he got found innocent, but it's possible that he did it. But per the rules of this country, the court system, he was found not guilty, so he gets to wear that. Even in death, he gets to wear that. He was not guilty. He was not found guilty of that crime. I think it's possible he could have done it.
Do you think he did it though?
That's his
What I
answer.
thought doesn't matter because he got found not guilty. I think he could have done it.
Right.
I think he could have done it.
So you can't categorically give a yes or a no to that question.
I can't say that he didn't
Okay.
do it, but I can't say that he did do it because there's room because he was found not guilty through a preponderance of evidence that he didn't do it. So I'm gonna let him rock with that.
He ain't do it.
So
That's the fact according to the law.
And if his
He
family
did
love
not
it, they
do
gonna
it.
stand on it.
Let's go back and revisit something else because it's gonna actually segue into another aspect that we were talking about before the show started, and that was the fact that from what I'm understanding, just based on media reports or what have you that I remember reading back then, Nicole Brown Simpson was also involved with a number of other individuals. Okay, as a matter of fact, one time OJ had come there and she was in the process of, let's just say, engaging in some inappropriate activities with another individual.
Right.
And OJ was livid. If a man can come to a place where he is paying for and find a woman who he was once married to, allegedly engaging in oral sex with another man, and he doesn't kill her then, and she can call the police and say, calm down, OJ, and he's just yelling, but he never hits her, then what makes him follow them to the house and he kill? I'm sorry, I have a problem with it, but it's like I say, man, it's what it was back then. We're talking 30 years ago,
Right.
But more importantly, the significance of it is the fact that this man will not even rest in death.
No,
And that's a tragedy. They will not. His legacy.
His case will be forever studied, talked about. Forever.
Oh, absolutely.
Forever.
It will always be, and it will always be.
That is
on
going to
the rise.
be not the bane of his existence, but that's
Twitter-
what it's going to sum up to.
Twitter
No,
about
that's gonna always.
That's
be
gonna be
something.
the sum of
Twitter
it,
about
this
to give him that
case.
work.
Yeah.
Twitter about to
This
give him that
case is
work.
gonna be
It's
the
about to
sum of his
so much
life.
shit posted
No matter how
and-
great of a football
Yeah.
player
About
he
to be a whole
was or
bunch of
whatever.
back and
People
forth
forget. I mean,
comments.
like I said,
Oh,
all
man.
the accomplishments before 1995, nobody cared. Nobody even cared.
No.
He made a bunch of funny movies, great football play. Don't nobody care, man. All they talk about is he killed those people.
He got kids.
Yeah. 4.
Yeah, two with his
He's
first
got
wife.
Weston,
He's got Arnell. He's got
Sydney.
What's that girl name?
Arnell.
Justin, Sydney, and he's got that boy Jason.
So was he a good dad?
Well, all his kids were with him. Let me ask you this: if you were accused of killing your daughter's mother, but you come home and stay with your daughter, right? Does that make you a good father? You got to be, right?
Man,
Why would she have you at our house?
that's just some foul ass
Her
shit.
da-
That's just
his
some foul ass
daughter,
shit in
who
the
was
beginning.
8 years old, when he was released from prison, he went to live with her in Florida. Because when you're released from prison, you have to have a permanent address where you're going to reside. Okay.
But also
The
too,
daughter
do you think he did it just to like, hey,
I mean, here's a question now. OJ may have
I'm
been a
trying
lot
to-
of things, but
I'm
I didn't know the
trying to
man
cover this
personally.
shit up.
But my question is, here's my thoughts about the whole question that you're asking me. What really was it for him to gain? Because here's the reality. Yes, he was an athlete. Yes, he could have had any woman in the world. But if Nicole Brown Simpson was one of these what we call high-end ladies of leisure, let me tell you something. You can take a person and do anything in the world to her. You can't stop your wife if she wants to be a hoe. You just can't
Now
stop.
we ain't gonna go there. Sid.
Okay,
Now
no,
look, Sid, we're
I
not gonna go. We're not
understand.
gonna call that woman
No,
that.
I
Now look,
wasn't-
she's
no,
dead,
I wasn't
and that was
referring
his,
to her.
and that was his wife.
I
Now,
was
we
not
ain't-
referring to her at all. I don't want you to misunderstand me.
Yeah.
I was using that as an analogy since he asked me about, do I think he did that? Notice, I'm never going to speak ill of any of these three individuals because I don't know none of them, right?
just said some
But I
foul
was
ass.
just simply saying that if this woman was doing what he said that the media said she was doing, right? Then I mean, what was there for him to gain? Really, be honest. What was there for him to gain?
But what you have to always understand when it comes to affairs, of the heart and love, you throw all that common sense and logic out the window. It might not have made no sense to him, but that was his old lady, and if he see her with another dude, you don't know how that man gonna react.
All right. Well, let me ask you.
You don't know how
I want to ask you a
that.
question. I'm glad you're saying that, Mike. Let me ask you this. Realistically, in your heart of hearts, and this is a simple yes or no. Do you think a person could commit a crime that heinous of that magnitude and do it without a scratch on themselves? I'm talking about up close and personal. We're talking about two individuals.
I'm gonna get an answer to that in a generic scenario. Yes, because you don't know what that person was wearing. Remember, there was discussions about a scuba gear suit. Yeah, that was supposedly in the bag that was seen coming from the airport. See, these are things you have to get. If you got on the scuba suit, that you could escape the blood, you could escape the knife wounds that might be incurred. All of those you could do it. So it's not out of the realm.
So we're gonna say that. Well, OJ is a lot smarter than he looks.
Say it. When you ask that question, nigga, silencer, gloves, long sleeves. I'm out.
Absolutely.
Now, once again, not to say that he did do it, but I always believe there's a possibility he could, because when I see the scenario where this happens, once again, I'm breaking you off. I'm giving you $4,000 a month in alimony plus child support. You ride around here in the car I done bought, staying at a crib that I done probably paid for, and you got some dude coming over here. You know I still cover it, because I'm gonna tell you something. I know men now that they ex-old lady or they old lady got kids with or whatever, they still act stupid behind them women. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. Well, that's
I'm gonna answer that for you, honestly. It's about that emotional. It's about that still emotional connection. You don't want me, but I'm not sure I don't still want you. See, because if that same woman who I'm paying $4,000 a month for asks me, look, I know we've had our differences, but if we can work it out, will you come home? Then I might not feel so bad.
Still got hope.
He still got hope. Otherwise, cause let me tell you something. The judge told me today I had to pay $5,000 to the one I used to be with. Guess what? Your Honor, here's $5,000 for her, and here's $5 for you. Every day for a pack of Excedrin, because she was a big headache the whole time. Okay? But if I still love her and I got $5,000 I got to give her, I'm not angry about the money that I'm giving. I'm angry about the fact that I'm not there to enjoy my money while watching from the sideline while she got that little dude coming from around the corner.
Let me get a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Let me get a handshake on top of that.
Yeah, on the top.
Let me get a little bit of that.
On the top. You know what I'm saying? We're just being honest here.
Yeah.
Women can hurt a man in ways that women have yet to ever understand. Because, see, we go to school, we go out and we get great careers, and we someday hope to have a great lady that we can actually say, you know what, I feel like I've made it. Because, see, men, we simple. You understand me? Y'all can put on dresses, skirts, robes, jeans, and pants. All we're going to put on is pants. If him or I walk in here with a dress on, you're going to say, hold up, something wrong with him, clown. You understand? We have to just simplify how we work with straight generic through and through. And see, and we just want to be appreciated. You understand what I'm talking about? But, in OJ's case, he was forced to pay because you know why? What OJ apparently was not able to recognize the fact the system is constantly reminding you of who you are and where you belong.
But with that being said, you also have to understand the role you playing at. You can't whoop her and be on record and having domestic violence calls against you. You can't have that. You can't do some of the things that he was doing and think that people are not going to look at you. That's my thing.
Here's the deal, Mike, about that.
Before you go there, if every time you see me, I'm standing somewhere, there's a busted window around, eventually you're going to start thinking, Mike, you busting them windows. At some point in time, you're going to put two and two together, man.
He said, what rock? What rock?
What bat? You already got that bat in the back of your truck.
So when he does have these instances where she has had to call the police because he was going bad, he went upside the head. You got photos of these things. People are going to put that together now. They're less likely to believe.
Well, you know, here's the problem.
That's a real ass
And here's
shit.
the problem,
That's a
though.
real
You know,
ass shit right
it's
there.
funny you mentioned that because
Now that from what you said, I do believe that it was a highly contentious and more than likely abusive relationship in so many ways. Because we're talking about somebody who's a celebrity who and people who got money will often remind you of who you are and where they brought you from. You understand what I'm talking about? That will happen. You see, so a lot of times too, when you got money, money gives you freedom. It gives you the ability to say no. Okay, so when you got the kind of money this man had, especially back then in those times, it's kind of hard not to see him developing that sense of arrogance. And with that arrogance comes that control. Because, you know, to be honest with you, when you really stop to think about it and look at it as a whole, right? Where did Nicole Brown come from before she became Nicole Brown Simpson?
I want to say she was waiting.
She was waiting tables.
She wasn't
You understand what I'm
doing
talking about? Her family did not come from a standpoint of affluence. So he was the savior. So here he is being revered upon like, they look up to me now. Now I'm not only just their equal, but I'm above them. I rescued you folks. You understand what I'm talking about? So now y'all owe me. And the prize that I'm willing to take is your daughter. But I'm not going to treat her as if she is an inanimate object. I'm going to give her life. But in exchange for me giving her life, she's going to give me her unconditional love, loyalty, and obedience. You understand me? And who knows? Juice might have been jumping over hurdles and running through suitcases. But now we got to ask ourselves, was Juice jumping over hurdles in the place where it counted the most when him and Nicole was alone? Okay? Because Nicole was still seeming like she was yearning for something else. See, so now that goes back to what we talked about earlier. You could have everything on the outside, but did it all come down to pipe when it came to the inside? Okay.
Well, I'm gonna go
You
here.
have that, Ms. Rose?
I am just here.
I don't know. We don't see. Those are questions. Those are questions that we not gonna. There's no court transcripts on that aspect.
Right.
So
Right.
we can't speak on it.
Right.
We can't speak on it. You know, this is what we talk about. This the court
But
transcript.
well, it's like what you were saying earlier, like the way a woman acts when she has a man can tell you how he treats her.
Yeah.
In public and in private.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that, Ms. Rose, because I'm gonna tell you the truth now. And I can remember when I was growing up, I had a real good friend of mine, and I called him to the side, and he and I talked, and I told him, I said, man, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I said, that's a real pretty girl, and I said, the way you are with that girl, I don't know how you can even much live with yourself. But I as
You
time
said that to
went
your
on,
friend?
Yeah, this was my best friend. He
Okay.
and I had been friends for 25 years at that time. That was 10 years ago, right? But I could not understand, because I mean, if you saw this girl, she looked like a model, but he was just physically abusive to her, and so on and so forth. But you know what? Like a little yo-yo, she always came back. And for a while that perplexed me until I sat down and realized that, you know what? She wasn't coming back for him because of how he treated her. She was coming back to him for how he made her feel. You understand what I'm talking about? Because they say that we men are sexual predators. That may have its sense in some truth. But I believe that if we're the sexual predators, then women are the reverse side of the sexual prey. Because it seems like to me, if things are working there for them, they have no complaints. They say, girl, you know, my man, he could do a little better. He could get a job, but girl, just give him a chance. He gonna be all right. You've been saying that for the last 2 years. Well, is he all right now? Girl, just don't worry about it. Just leave him alone, okay?
Well, with that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of slide on to the next topic. You know, we're gonna put Mr. O.J. Simpson, O.J. Juice. Rest in peace, my man. Rest in heaven. We're gonna keep your name in a positive light. You always gonna have a spot here at Stevie J's Barbershop.
I got something to say. How I was introduced to OJ, Tecmo Bowl.
Really?
Oh.
Tecmo Bo. That's how I knew who he was.
Really?
That's the only reason. Yeah, because I was
'cause
winning.
you right.
I was winning.
So how old were you when you were what year were you born in? Never mind, don't say.
88.
Okay,
I'm
so
88. I'm 88,
okay,
baby.
yeah, OJ had left.
Tecmo
OJ had
Bo.
been left pro.
The juice.
Yeah.
Tecmo, but that was my guy.
He was a terrific man. I must say, he was a terrific
Raiders.
athlete, man. As I sit back and I remember watching, a lot of the games. Because again, I mean, I'm a couple years older than you, so I remember as I was
You mean a
just
couple, you mean a couple.
a couple years older, and that's what we're gonna leave at. Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna segue into the next topic. And this is one that I really wanted Rose to be here for so that she could give us a perspective from a woman. I've been approached by different people of the opposite sex with the same topic, unprompted, just through conversation. And what it really is it's the pursuit versus the chase. How men and women get together and how they date. There's differing opinions and views on each side that, to me, it seems like keep everybody from getting together because it looks to me like both sides are trying to play defense on each other. Nobody's playing offense and one's playing defense. Both teams are playing defense, so nobody's advancing anything because everybody is defending themselves as opposed to ingratiating themselves to one another. So I had a gentleman.
Mike, that shit good.
So we had a gentleman that came with the conversation, multiple gentlemen, we were having a conversation, and it came down to how the hoops that women want you to jump through when you're pursuing them and trying to gain their attention and their time versus what they're willing to do in that moment. And from a woman, I had her speak specifically on Dallas men. And she said that men here, they want the woman to do the pursuing of them. And it always brings a chuckle to me when they say this because I've been in Dallas most of my life. So I know from what she's talking about. So I have a unique perspective on that. But I wanted to ask you, Rose, as a woman, tell us, okay, first and foremost, we have a pursuit and we have a chase. And whichever one, you're in the same race. It's a pursuit and a chase. But who is doing what? Do the women want to be pursued or do they want to be chased? Because there is a difference.
What's the difference?
The chase, when you're pursuing something, there's a goal and a target in mind. Chase, you're just running behind something. And it's from the men, they're saying that the women want them to chase with the goal never being obtainable. And that's frustrating in a lot of aspects for a lot of men because I feel like the women are giving them a runaround. You tell me, what is it y'all are looking for?
Wait, all the women in Dallas? Damn. Okay, I'm like, what do we want? Listen, well, as a woman who's not from Dallas, I'm from Chicago, the South Side Chicago. Don't play with it. But I've been here 10 years, so I can agree with what she said that the men seem to want the women to chase them. I don't know. Of course, social media plays a big part of that. People really do not, and I say people, men and women, they really do not know what they want. And that's just what I've come to realize being out here dating apps, whatever. I've done the whole thing. People don't know what they want. And that's just the bottom line. You could chase me, you could pursue me, you could do all that, but if I do not know what I want, for real, in my heart of hearts, depths to depths, then it doesn't matter what you do. At some point, I'm going to get tired of you, sick of you, don't want to talk to you, don't want to see you, uninterested, because I don't know what I want. And don't nobody know what they want. People are brainwashed by social media, and it's a physical thing that you have to work on to not fall into. Scrolling every day, we are overwhelmed with information. Women think that men supposed to pay their whole lives for a first date. Men thinking women supposed to get them pussy because you took me to Cheesecake Factory. Nobody like that's what you get.
And that's what I'm hearing.
And it's And it's so like I've been on dates and they be like, oh, okay, what's your address? Why would I give you my address? Right. What are you talking about? Are we gonna go back to your place? You not finna know where I live? What are you talking about? So, and it's like expected. And it's like when I be like, I don't do that. What are you talking about? I'm looked at as crazy or, oh, you want somebody to do too much. No, I want you to be a gentleman. I want you to care about something other than my pussy.
What you was gonna say, Sid?
I'm glad you mentioned that because you use like the word gentleman, for example. So, in your eyes, what defines a gentleman? You know, I mean, we're not talking about the classic definition from the dictionary, but in your eyes, what defines a gentleman?
For me, a gentleman is someone who is. What's important to me is a protector first and foremost. Provider in a sense. Not like you gotta pay all my bills, but you provide something that I cannot provide for myself.
Okay.
And just chivalry, being courteous, respectful, and not just to me, just in general. A lot of women like men who are mean to everybody else, but great to them. I don't particularly care for that. Like, you can step behind me, and that's cool. But I want you to be a gentleman in general. I want people to see you and see if you're my man and just respect you in general. Not just for how you treat me, yes, but you're just a good man. You're courteous, you're respectful. People respect your point of view. That's a gentleman.
Now, the reason why I asked you that is because you mentioned something in the beginning of your conversation. What you said was people don't know what they want, right? And the reason why I asked you that because I wanted to pretty much gain some insight because now that takes me to the point. You see how you just gave me your definition of a gentleman? That dovetails into what I've always said in this shop and everywhere I've gone in this country. If you get it straight on the front end, there can be no misunderstanding. So instead of having me chase you or have me go behind something that, for example, is not attainable. Perfect example, if I sat down and talked to you and you told me you're looking for your protector, damn, I can't protect me, baby, so how am I protect you? So that eliminates me from that game.
Don't be faking protecting me. Say that. Say, I can't give you what you want, baby girl.
That's right. So number two, you understand me? You probably making more paper than me, so the only thing I can give you that you can't give yourself is good laughs and maybe a thrill, okay? But other than that, baby, we got them. So the point I'm making is, and all that satire is the fact that if women will just communicate to men what they want on the front end, then that will tell me if whether or not I need to waste any more of my time or even one iota of your time.
Now, see, I don't know about that because we talked about people don't want the truth because even when the women who come with the no to even talk to me, you got to cash at me $50 to get my number. When they come with that, now she a hoe, now she a gold digger. She told you what it is up front. You got to pay to play, baby. Everybody pay to play for real.
Okay, now wait a minute. Now wait a minute. Let's go back here for a minute. Now if you tell me, no, but if you tell me I got to give you $50, then my question gonna be to you. Okay, so if I'm gonna give you these $50, what are you giving me? See, because now you're opening up.
Her number said they want $50 for the number.
Oh no, baby, I can get a number for anyway.
That's what they want.
I get a number from women.
We get numbers from
the phone.
We get numbers for free.
I get a number from women. That means she gonna answer the phone right or wrong.
Right. Nigga number for free right there, bitch. $50.
I've seen it.
But it happens.
You got me all the way.
I mean, to come back to pursuit or chase, if you're a woman who knows what she wants, i.e. myself, okay? First of all, the chase is forever. Yeah. Let's just get that clear.
Wow, I like that. Mike, did you hear that?
She said the
chase
it is forever. It is forever. Now
those
the
words
pursuit,
is being grinded straight.
The chase is forever. The chase never stops. The pursuit is when you get me. You get me. I'm quote unquote yours. We're together. We established that. Cool. Right. You got to chase me for the rest of our lives now.
But with that being said, if you want me to keep chasing you, you got to stop every now and then to show me why I'm
Absolutely.
This is
fair.
It is even.
Women are fair. I keep telling y'all that.
Mike,
every now and then.
Mike, this shit is an even exchange. It's an even exchange. Ain't no.
When you remember the Wile E. Coyote and the Road Runner. See, the Road Runner never.
Forever.
I can't never win.
Never. Never.
Even sometimes I
Never.
can't
Even
win.
when you thought he was a never.
You got, I'll chase you, baby, but every now and then you gotta say,
Exactly.
I got to catch
Ex-
In some point,
Exactly.
shit.
Exactly.
Now you might take off again.
And here I
But
come.
I feel like
I can catch it.
Hold on, let
Yes.
me ask you this
Yes.
before you mention that.
Get
So what about when I
That nigga be
finally
coming
when
with the
you do-
analogies
What
so
about
on
when you
point.
finally do stop?
That nigga keep
and
on-
every
that nigga
time
keep
we
the
get to
analogies on
talking,
point.
you gotta talk this whole hemming and hawing shit. What about that?
Would there be no hemming?
Wait, what'd you say? What'd you say?
I said, what about when she finally do stop at the chase and then you go to talk to her, she go to
Oh, yeah,
hen
yeah.
and hawing and
What
all
you say?
that.
No, ain't no
No,
him.
you
Ain't
can't
no
do
motherfucking
that.
him and
You
Han.
can't.
Ain't no
You can't
motherfucking
do
him and
that.
Han.
There is no hemming and no horn, baby. Look, I like old Bruce Lee. There, not Bruce Lee, the
The
old
stuff is
Chinese
simple.
man with said there is no try, only do or do not.
Okay.
That's it.
And
We
you
ain't
gotta
gonna
get
do no
with
bunch-
somebody who actually likes you.
That's
Nah,
important.
that's funny you say that
Who
because I say
actually
that.
likes you, not how you look,
Right.
not what you do, but
Right.
actually
Yeah.
likes you.
the person
Because
that
when you start getting on my nerves, I'm like, oh my God, you lucky I like your ass.
Right.
But you know why that's so important what you just said? Because think about it. People always say this, but I've learned this myself. You know what? When you like somebody, you will love them a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
When you love somebody, you can easily grow to hate them.
Mm-hmm.
Because many times love is a way we repay our gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to repay my gratitude in perpetuity to you. But if I like you, you may not have much. But you know what, though? It's the way you make me feel when
Yeah.
I'm around you.
Yeah.
You bring out the best in me,
Yeah.
even when I'm at the worst of
Yeah.
me. You
Well,
understand?
what I've grown to find in that situation is when you truly love somebody, you're going to fall in and out of like with them.
Yeah.
It's going to be days that I don't feel
Oh
like
my God.
fooling with
The
you.
people who be getting or breaking up and getting divorced, it just breaks my heart. Only because it's like you went into this, or they be like, "What's the fate?" They be like, "Oh, you changed." You're supposed to change. You have to sign up to love to know this person's gonna be like 6 different people, 8 different people, 10 different people. That's why you gotta like them.
And that's important. You're correct. But with that growth and with that change, also, there has to come the understanding that when you grow and you shift and you change in your part, that other person is doing the same.
No
You
doubt.
cannot disrespect their level of growth that they're having because you want and because you want them to respect your growth. Now, some growth is going to be unilateral. Y'all going to run side by side, but some growth is going to run counter to each
Yeah.
other. You know, I'm growing in other areas where you growing in other
Because
ways.
people lose
Do we
their
have enough to hold?
individuality.
Do we have enough between us to hold us together, or are we truly, you know, growing in ways that this doesn't stay together? You know, this is I said the man-woman thing is always a beautiful and complex conversation to have
Yeah.
because everybody's experiences are going to shape the way they think about it, especially a true adult.
Yeah.
When you're young, you know, your first run at love, you just going off emotions and feelings. You know, and you may still continue to do that as you get older, but you do it with the level of knowledge and the reference.
And some
point.
wisdom.
Yeah, you say, okay.
After you done got your heart broke.
Yeah, like, I
Killed
okay.
yourself.
After
After you was outside, being a
Being
dog,
outside, right.
killed yourself.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Came on
Are
back
you
in.
speaking from experience on some of this stuff? Because
I
I'm
speak from
listening to you
experience
moving
for
your face
everything.
back and forward like, hey, wait a minute,
I
I've been
speak from
there.
experience.
Nigga, how you
on
know,
everything.
nigga? How you know what she doing?
I can only speak on my experience.
PJ, she like, I'm telling myself, hold on. I said, wait a minute, say it, fall back. She kind of speaking from experience.
And
Yeah.
that's the best conversation to have.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
the
sir.
best conversation to have.
It just is what it is.
You know, and it's funny we have this conversation because, like when I was a long time ago, I used to burn music, right? Make a little living, the extra living.
You was
stuff
CD
like
burner?
that. Yeah, man, I was CD
Yeah.
burner, man.
Yeah.
I had all
Bootleg,
that.
man.
And
That
this-
nigga making that bread.
Yeah,
$5 disc.
$5 disc.
That's
That's
right.
right. And believe it or not, this was like because I started out my first business I ever launched. It was back in 1998. I was a freight broker until 2001 when the 911 deal collapsed. Right. So after I lost so much money, I said, "Well, I got to turn to something that's going to allow me to kind of put some food on the table." I raised my little brother. My mom had just died a couple of years earlier. So long story short, I got into burning these CDs. Right. So back then I was hanging out with some real unsavory characters. Okay. So long story short, I would burn these CDs based off of the music I liked. What was so doggone amazing was I found out some of the worst people that were coming by some of these CDs from me that were cutting up and carrying on in the streets were all looking for the same thing. They were looking for love. Because all the songs I burned was love ballads.
R&B.
Right? R&B.
That's it.
One dude came back to my house.
See, that's when the man was begging.
He
what
was
happened
begging.
to that?
Well, see, watch this. He come back to the house. He give me back the CD. I said, what's the matter? It's a scratch. I'm going to burn your number. He said, no, you take the CD. I said, well, let me get your money back, brother. He said, I don't want the money back. I said, well, why you bring the CD back? He said, man, that thing had me crying, man. He said, I was on my way to take care of my business, and then I had to turn around, bro. He said, I found myself driving all the way to the doggone golf course, bro.
That's part of the problem, too. The men don't get to be emotional without being called sassy.
And I always say we gotta, and I always say, you know what, as a man, you gotta allow yourself to be vulnerable.
I ain't got a zesty bone or a zesty flake in my body. But shit, let a nigga cry a little bit. Damn.
Look, I can cry.
Let nigga cry a little bit. Let me be a little vulnerable with you so I can get my emotions off. Shit. There's so much shit a nigga dealing with day to day to day to day to day.
That's a recent
revelation. I might want to come home and cry.
That's, you know, I said in the last 15, 18 years, only has it been acceptable or allowable for a man, especially a black man.
Yeah, man was told to go to war and die.
But yeah, you know.
Wow, I like that.
When you grow up as a young black boy,
those were the instructions.
When you grow up in a black community, in a black family, you know, if you're a boy, you taught to be tough.
Don't cry.
They
Stop
teach
that
you how to fight.
Man up.
Real men don't cry.
Man up, though.
You know what I'm saying? And so you grow up with these thoughts in your head that this is really must be what it is.
This is how you gotta conduct
So you're
yourself.
taught to suppress your emotions.
Yeah.
So when women come to men a lot of time and they say, well, you don't show me no emotion.
You don't talk to me.
Well, baby, you know,
I don't know how to do
it's
that.
not that.
I don't know how to do that.
I was taught from a book that said that's not what you're supposed to do. So
I was told you don't like that.
Yeah, you know, so you
don't
grow up
wanna
with a
see that.
misconception.
Baby, what
You
you
know,
tell
heard
me?
me like that one time you said that?
Go ahead.
What'd you tell me, baby?
Talk to me.
Communicate.
You know, heard me one time when I said that?
Communicate. Shit.
My daughter
I got
was
something
about
to say.
6 years old, man. I'll never forget this. I was outside doing something. She came to me and she was talking, and she started crying. And I told her, I said, Jay, you're a Mitchell. I said, do you ever see Daddy cry? And she said, no. I said, why is it that you think you never see me cry? And she said, because you're not human and you have no emotions.
Oh, man, you're a robot.
Did you fall down on the ground when she said that?
No, when she turned around
heart.
and she went inside, I started to asking God, I say, is she right? Because for to hear her say that as a 6-year-old, and she didn't say it because I was ever mean to her or anything. She said it because I never saw you. So as she got older and we talked about it, she said, Daddy, I said that to you because I've never seen you cry. So to go back to what Mike said, all my life, I was always taught crying is not normal, right? So I probably went, and this is all kidding, I probably went 30 years before I dropped a tear. And I think I think when that time did come and I did have that incident, I think more or less it was just to remind me that, yeah, you are human. So men, we have to be able to feel safe with a woman to cry.
Man,
that's a hard thing for a man to do.
Oh, to show that level of...
To be honest with you, the one who I probably would have felt that level of safety with, at that time I was still in that same era where I didn't think it was good to cry. But yes, I have. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this. She was from your town, as a matter of fact. We sat down one day, and I think the closest I came to her when she told me, she said, you know, Cedric, she said, I've gotten to know you, and I think you would have been one hell of a songwriter. And I said, why do you figure that? She said, because I can tell by being with you and being around you live with a lot of pain. She said, why you never thought about writing music? I said, because you know why? Most songwriters die from a broken heart and they never get a chance to live the lyrics.
For real?
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I often,
didn't know that.
Yeah, I think most songwriters die with a broken heart, man. If you listen to it and you really think about it. So it goes back to what we're saying here today in terms of how the disconnect that has come about between men and women, and how we are taught on one hand to be tough and not to show emotions, but how it hurts us on the other hand when that woman is like, okay, open up to me. You can trust me. Until then you betray me, and I'll be like, nah, I feel like a fool. That's why I didn't want to trust you.
Yeah, vulnerability is hard for a man to give up. That because you telling me I got to take off all this armor and all these shields, and I got to lay all that down.
Yeah.
And trust you with that, and I got to trust that you're not going to use these things that I give you. And so many women do that.
They do.
That's
I
that.
seen so many videos, it hurt my heart. I saw this video of this couple walking out of Target, and they was like, that's why I'm doing that prank shit.
Playing, oh yeah.
Playing and stop playing around.
I don't do no playing.
I don't even, my reflexes too fast, so playing.
Yeah, I don't play.
But they would come out of Target and was prank, and he said something, and she was like, that's why your daddy won't talk to you. And I was like, damn.
Why would you say that to? Why would you say that?
He got an Uber, he wrote over her. He was like, why would you say that?
Right, you know that's
on YouTube.
and you gonna say that.
Vulnerability for me is taking a shit. That's taking a shit. Like I can't do nothing else. I'm sitting on the toilet. that's my vulnerable moment. Taking a shit because I can't do nothing else. Somebody come in that bitch trying to fight me right now, and I'm taking a shit. Like, what's gonna happen? I think I need to finish shitting first. But I'm gonna get up and beat your ass, but
after I put my pants.
I'm vulnerable to motherfucker.
You know what though, man, as we speak about that, a lot of men need to learn that, and this is important why forums like this, they bring so much meaning, because it's like the rest of us. There's 4 of us sitting here right now in this panel. And yes, I happen to be the only one who's not able to see, but it just goes to show you we all see the same. We all see different.
Yeah.
But we
It's
feel
your emotion. It's you feel.
follow me?
It's the feeling.
Exactly. So when I sit back and I think about where I've gone and the things I've been through, and I sit back and I start, like many times I'll check out relationships, different relationships, and I'll be like, yeah, that works.
Yeah.
I certainly hope these two can see what they have. Because, it ain't till Richard Pryor said something one time that was so powerful. He said, life is the greatest invention ever known to man. Unfortunately, most of us wait till it's too late. We get too damn old before we realize and do anything about it.
Yeah.
So before I get to that point in my life, I'm glad I'm able to recognize now the things that are important. And one of the things that's really important right now, despite all the bullshit that we laugh and play about, is every man wants to have the right woman who he feels comfortable with.
Man.
He gotta be.
Is that the goal?
I think of a lot of men.
Or
I'm
is
not
that
gonna,
just like the thing in the back of your mind?
That's the goal. Because
I think that's
as you get older, you start. Let me tell you something. When you realize
Y'all be waiting till y'all 45 though.
Yeah,
Damn, nobody got time for that.
We run so hard.
Nobody got time for y'all old asses.
Okay, well let me ask you a question.
45 trying to have 3
be
kids.
outside.
Okay, y'all be pissing me off.
They don't care to come outside. So here's the
Niggas want to get married at 45. Like, all right, I'm gonna settle down. Of course you do now.
It be like
You about to get your
what makes me
AARP.
sit down?
Now you want to settle down.
She's like AARP. Hey, stop! Don't do that.
I'm just saying.
I joined AARP only because I was blind. Now, I didn't make the age requirement, but I said, hey, wait a minute, this gonna get me.
They give it to everybody now. I got it because I got it too. I got discounts on stuff. But that's the point is this said. That is not the point. That is not the point.
This woman, that's
You get your social security check. Now you want to get married. Get your ass
Here's
on.
Now,
the deal, though, Rose. You know what it
I'm
is?
gonna give you the flip side to that.
Tell
Now you
me.
said the men wait that long.
Yes. Do it take that long?
Did you want that 35?
That's what I'm saying. Do it take that long for
It
you to
depends
get it here?
It depends on the gentleman.
Come
It depends on the gentleman.
That is some crazy
Sometimes
ass
you're not gonna want
They
that.
can't even have babies no more at 45. I mean, they
They
can, but
can.
it's a high risk.
Yeah. Now once again, if the woman, it's more important that the woman be in a good spot age-wise than it is for the man.
So you're going to be 45, you're going to get a 35-year-old. Or a 30-year-old.
You need to get a younger woman.
You need to get... Nah, see?
My last 2 babies, that's how, that's the
I know
scenario.
you had them back-to-back, so you out here playing.
That's the scenario that was working for me. And I'm an old dude.
You did, yes.
I'm an old dude, so that's the scenario. But, I really feel and understand the woman's plight and the man's, so I really do. Like I said, because to me it seems like both sides are so
There's
afraid.
no working together.
I'm playing defense and you playing defense, Rose. We never gonna get the ball up the court. We ain't even worrying about the ball. We just
like,
I'm
you're
making
not
sure
gonna
you
play
can't do
me.
nothing.
You're not
You ain't
gonna play me. You not finna play
And
me.
nobody ever takes a chance on each other.
Because people get hurt when they take chances, but the thing is to find love and to
You gonna have to
get,
take
you
them
have
chances,
to, you just gotta get 10 toes down in that thing. Cause ain't no other way.
Yeah, you have to, be careful with some of your choices, but you have to make choices.
And you gotta be okay with this might fuck me up.
Right, and yeah, you have to.
This may rock
I might
my
fail
shit.
with this.
This
I might
may
fail
rock
with this.
me to my core, but I'm gonna do it.
But I see enough of what I think might be good. I'm gonna try.
Yes. People don't want to try. They want you. That's why I think the whole women want you to do everything in the world for them before they do anything for you. Because it's like, I think women take on the burden, right, of childbirth, pregnancy. It's a bigger deal for me to get pregnant than for you to get me pregnant.
Oh, absolutely. Because
understand?
you ready?
I
passed it off to you.
You know what I'm saying? You
ready to
got the
incubate.
good part. I got the heavy labor part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a bigger deal for me to sacrifice my body. And then women lose everything. When they get married, I lose my name. I lose my title. I lose all that. I take on your name, yeah, but now I'm mom. I'm not me. And that's why it's important when you say people grow like this. I just think that this part is the keeping your individuality in the relationship.
Yeah, there has to be an emphasis on that because
and that has to be okay. People have a problem with that. They have a problem with when you going to learn a new skill, like my dad learning Spanish. If he had a woman and she didn't like Spanish, it's like, you gonna try to damper him from learning Spanish, or you want to pick up the thing with him? You know what I'm saying? Like, let him do his thing, and you find your thing, whatever that
Absolutely.
is.
And
Okay,
all things don't have to be.
They don't have to be a together thing,
everything
but
don't
we
have to
can keep growing
You
as
can have
a,
our
as a
things,
unit.
and I can have my thing.
Now, when we go to the Mexican restaurant, I can speak Spanish and talk to these people
And feel good about
and feel good about it.
So now it's funny you say that, see, because
You better not say nothing about no motherfucking AI.
no, it ain't
Chat
got nothing to do-
GPT.
it ain't got nothing to do no AI. No, it ain't got nothing to do no AI. We talking emotional things. AI ain't there yet. It's on the way, but it ain't there yet. But here is my question to you. So you mentioned about individuality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, if my individuality diverges from your expectations, how do you handle that? See, because in a relationship, there's a certain level of maturity, but there's also a certain level of discipline. And when I say discipline, I'm referring to the fact that this is my woman. This is what she does. She doesn't mean any harm, but this is how she comes off. When we go places, she meets, she greets. She'll even get up and dance. She'll laugh, shake hands, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it's a little too friendly, but for her, it's who she is. So how do you balance that from a female's perspective in order to make your man know that, look, I'm comfortable with you, baby? How does that work? Because, y'all get real finicky real fast.
You know what? Y'all a bunch of frosted flakes yourselves.
Oh.
Okay, but we're gonna let that go.
Okay.
But the thing is this, and this has been a problem that I personally dealt with myself. Someone, a man always trying to dim me down. Because I'm a big personality, I would think in a sense.
I can see that.
You know what I'm saying? I command the room. I'm not afraid to talk in front of crowds of people. I'm not afraid to share my opinion. You know what?
Yeah. I can see that, Rose.
You can't see
Hey, see
that.
It's like I command the room. I'm like,
I can't. It's just a fact. You just have to know who you are. Okay.
Exactly.
Listen. So, but like that. But in dating, I have had men say, "Oh, that's too much. You too friendly, or you know too many people, or something like that." And I'm not a people person in the time, in the moment. I could be very much in my little cocoon, in my shell, do my thing. But if I'm outside, I'm outside. We finna have fun. I'm not finna be some Debbie Downer. But my problem has been men wanting me to not be like that. Or you just sit in the corner and look pretty. That's not, you don't put baby in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay? If you don't get that reference, you too young to talk to me.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. And to be with somebody who just accepts, I shouldn't have to change my personality.
Yeah.
But how you deal with that is, it's just reassurance. If you do have an outgoing woman outside, I have always found it beneficial. Like, you always got to come back to your nigga. Like, come back to your man for a second. You know, make sure everything's good there, and then take your ass back out. If you want to dance and stuff, like, always, check on him, cater to him, make sure he okay. Because it shouldn't be fuck him. It shouldn't be like, oh, you should just accept me. Like, no, I have to adjust.
And a woman should know her man well enough to understand that,
Exactly.
okay, I know how he is, but I'm who I am, and what you said was perfect. I'm gonna go be me, but I'm gonna get back.
I'm gonna get back to my man.
Go check on him.
You know what I'm
make
saying?
Sure he good.
Because
holler at him for a second.
and then I'm back out.
That shit's simple as a motherfucker. Like,
It's simple.
shit.
It's not difficult.
It's just paying attention
And
and
I want
understanding.
to.
Right.
And me and my man step outside. Your friends here, my friends here. We finna be all over this place. But at points in this evening or this environment, I'm gonna get back, touch base. You good? We good? We gonna dance. We gonna make out. Whatever we gonna do.
Off top.
And then go back out and do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the comfortability.
That way,
between
everybody feels reassured. Everybody feels connected. You're not trying to play me. You're not trying to.
ignoring me.
You're not trying to be outside in my face. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I want everybody to know
Like,
this
I'm
my
out,
man.
I'm out and I'm ignoring you. That shit.
No, that don't make no
like,
sense.
what the
Oh, don't
fuck
talk to
are
me
we-
with my homegirl. That makes no sense. No, we're in a big party.
Yeah, we got a big. we got a whole big.
We got to. I'm saying that's
kicking it,
ridiculous. That makes no
Kicking
sense.
it.
We kicking it. Your friends here, my friends here. We need a big table.
Hey, that's such. Hey, also, this such.
So,
But just kick it.
But I think that's what, like you said. Give me a reason to keep chasing you.
I'm gonna pull it back to that. You know,
Give me
in
a
the
reason to
pursuit
keep
and the
chasing you.
chase,
My girl can go out here. She bad. She pretty. Everybody want her, but she keep coming back to me.
and that's
And
everybody.
everybody see it, and everybody know it. She made it known. I made it known. She can be herself. It's fine. But if you do that, you don't give your person the respect. It's a respect thing.
And then you just keep on. You're gonna keep piling problems on top of problems because you
Exactly.
never dealt with the initial
Right.
problem. You know, this topic was one that it can always be ignited because it's gonna forever go on, the men and women. You know, but in the black community, our relationships have been so glorified in a negative manner that I want to shine a light on it that they can work. They do work. You know, but there is a lot of impropriety within, and it goes on within every culture and community. We're just more out front with our. We're more.
And
apt
we get
to,
polarized.
We're more apt to show the discontent and the discord publicly and media wise, social media wise, than other places will.
Yeah.
They experience it, but they
It's
deal with
in-house.
it internally.
Yeah.
And with us, it just always presents the image that black men and black women don't like each other. No, we love. We
It's
love
always
each other.
black on black crime. There's everybody on
Yes,
everybody
everybody
crime.
else have crime, but
Asians
they-
on Asians, whites on whites. Everybody
Nobody
kill
ever
each other.
nobody
That's
ever
not making the
refers to
news
it
though.
like that.
That don't make the news.
So as black people, what we have to do, those that are in relationships and those that aren't in relationships, you know, I think there has to be an understanding. First, one of the things I always tell people is you got to date people that date like you date.
Yes.
If you like to date, if you're a solo dater, okay, I like you. I'm gonna
And
give
you
you all
have
my.
to say that.
You have to say that. I'm interested in you.
What I was saying.
I'm going to pursue you, and I'm gonna let all this other
I
stuff
don't have
to the
nothing
side.
else going on. It's
That-
me and you. Be very clear.
That way, if that person does or does not,
It's easy to
vibe
spot
with that, you
and
can
get
say
their
that.
ass on.
if you're somebody that likes to date multiple, hey, you know, I like you, but you know, I got 3 or 4 other
Exactly.
people I'm dating.
I'm dating right now.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want to get in the rotation? Cool.
You say
You
that.
know what I'm
say that
saying?
up front so that those people know that.
And it's not that I'm sleeping with everybody. It's just I'm dating right now. Nobody's got cut off.
So,
So you want to cut
I think
them off?
those are
you
one
gonna
of
step
the
up.
initial hurdles. Find you if you're interested in someone and you make an approach and you make that contact. At some point early on, you need to find out. First and foremost, you need to know how you like to date.
Yes.
And then you need to let them know, well, this is how I like to date.
Yes.
You know? Does that vibe with what you're looking for, what you're trying to do, or not? Because I think you could eliminate a lot of headache and heartache
Yes.
if you say that off the front.
Yeah.
And then you also find out, okay, what they do. They like to focus on one person, like I like, or I like to date a bunch of people. They do too, so that way I'm gonna be stepping on their toes. They want
Right.
They get it says all the time. Get it straight on the front end. But I think if you eliminate that hurdle, it gets you to the next point without as much angst or anxiety. Because
That's it too. It points. Everybody be skipping all the steps.
Yeah, you have-
you go from meeting, getting numbers to living together. That
See,
makes
what
no
didn't happen
sense.
too is
That makes no
in
sense.
a lot of ways what didn't happen too, guys, and go back to what y'all were talking about social media. Like you hear a lot of these dudes out here say, because I mean I follow a lot of groups. Like for example, I follow these groups that are on Facebook, and many of them, you know, call themselves passport bros or what have you, right?
Oh,
And they talk about what it is that has caused them to go on this journey. So without going down that rabbit hole, what happens is, you know, you hear these different guys talking about, well, man, why aren't you dating in America? You're from America, you are American, you make your money here, right? Well, The problem is the women in America, they want you to be X, Y, Z, yada, yada. In other words, it's coming across as if black women have set these standards so high that unless you're an athlete, very few men can meet them. You follow me? So from your perspective, is that true, Rose, or is that just, what I call water cooler talk? Is that true?
I'm going to go with the water cooler talk, and let me tell you why. Here's the problem. I don't know, I'm just going to agree with it. Let's see what that leads. But here's the problem. The men who get on the internet and say these women this, these women that, these are the women that y'all are choosing. Because just like women passed up a bunch of good men passed up a bunch of good women because they wanted that IG bad bitch. And you didn't have what it took to keep her.
Yeah.
And now you mad because she like, nigga, you're broke. I can't talk to you.
And when you could see that through her stories and
you
and
see
posts,
this
that's
girl,
what she like.
she don't go to a job.
Like, you don't never see no post at work.
She only getting her nails done, hair done, everything did,
In
every
restaurants
Instagram
and on
post, and you done
vacation.
scooted your ass in her DMs, and now you mad because she said you gotta pay my rent.
She got the.
You pay my car note. You gotta pay a bill. You gotta get my maintenance every month is this amount.
Yeah.
Send that.
So for a dude, because look here, from 8 to 80, blind, crippled, and crazy, dudes always chasing. If they can smell it and sniff it, they behind it. You understand what I'm talking about? But when that woman gets to that point, now my best days are behind me. Because if you don't choose at some point, eventually you're gonna end up with nothing at the end of the night.
Well, unfortunately, women typically get the short end of the stick, right? And women suffer we are judged by, we have ageism against us.
Right, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like, oh, you done aged out. No, she didn't. Like, if you're smart, you understand that a woman of a certain age more than likely has wisdom, more than likely has stability, especially black women. Black women thrive at any age, to be quite honest. Yeah. But we get the short end of the stick all the time. Mm-hmm. We are at the butt of every joke. We are the lowest on the totem pole. We are the least protected, the least respected, all these things. Mm-hmm. So that is why I feel like this movement of the bad bitch and you got to pay to play and women knowing their worth, quote unquote, in a sense, it's just that. It's just that, no, we've been on the bottom a little too long and we tired.
To pull this all together, it sounds like this is good dialogue, first and foremost.
Great dialogue.
And I hope that those that are watching this really listen to the content of the conversation and soak in it and understand it and discuss it with your friends. Yeah. Because what we have here is, you have two opposing teams in the same race. Mm-hmm. And if there's no alignment, if there's no conversation and communication between the two, we'll continue to run these parallel races with nobody ever intertwining. And that's, it has to be some crossing of the line so that we can find that good man or that good woman that's the person for you. It's important that you find somebody that's really for you, that likes you as you are. That's one of the key things. If you have to be anything other than yourself to be with that person, those things usually don't last. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, we just, as a black man, I love black women,
I second that.
And I hope
as a black woman, I love black men.
So, and we just trying to spread that sentiment because we have to bring ourselves, understand that we all in this. This is our fight. We're in this together. We're looked down by everybody else outside of us. Yeah. So we have to understand that when God made the black man, He made the black woman for Him. When God made the black woman, He made you so that the black man could complement you, protect you, and all of those things. You know what I'm saying? So
and to be a helpmate.
Yeah,
ain't nothing wrong with being a helpmate.
No, we're definitely made for one another. We just have to quit opposing each other and giving each other so much grief in the pursuit and opportunities to be with one another. Mm-hmm. I want to thank this distinguished panel tonight, man. It's been a good conversation. We could go on and on all night, but we got other things to do and places to go. But I want to thank Ms. Rose for presenting her perspective and her wonderful personality. This isn't the last time that we'll see her.
No, I'll be back. Thank you.
We want to thank.
We certainly will welcome you back,
the
Rose.
Blind Sensation for his unique perspective. He's got the brightest and widest eyes of all of us. He may not see, but he can see.
That just don't work so damn well. No Absolutely.
And my man Debonair on the end. He came in tonight. He came and backed his boy up. We definitely appreciate him providing his presence and his knowledge in this conversation. Absolutely. Man. We want to definitely thank Stevie J Sports and Cuts where we film. You're looking for the best haircuts. We the kings of West Plano. We hold it down on this end, been doing it for 10 plus years. Yeah, we've been doing it for 10 plus years, and we ain't going nowhere. We moving up the street, but we ain't going nowhere. Bigger and better things. So y'all come check us out, Stevie J Sports and Cut, 6400 West Plano Parkway, Suite 104. Debonair, you want to tell them where they can find you on social media?
Call me Don Juan Baker. That's me. That is I. That is me. I am him. Tonight, the dialogue tonight, I love it.
Mr. Mitchell, can you tell them where they can meet you on social media?
Absolutely. You can always find me at blindsaid at Instagram.com. Okay. As a matter of fact, you will also be able to tune in. The next show is coming up soon. I got a grand premiere that's going to be coming out called Blind Insights, opening the eyes of everybody around them who fail to understand, who fail to see what's right in front of them. So, guys, stay with us, stay posted, but more importantly, guess what? Stay tuned because they got a hell of a lot more to come after this game here to go with, okay?
Ms. Rose, where can they find you at on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at _India Rose. That's NDIAROSE. And follow, like, subscribe, and make sure y'all engage with this. These are some beautiful black men who are giving their insight and perspective, and you want to tap in because you'll miss gems. They drop them all the time.
And you can find me on Facebook at Michael J. Hamilton II. On Instagram, I'm at Skool Clothes, SKOOL Clothes 2310. And you can also like, share, and subscribe. Kings Love Media on YouTube. That's where you go come to watch the show. We're gonna be adding and uploading much more content, bringing you all kinds of conversation and guests, and just trying to really bring the conversations that need to be had to the airwaves with real people. Bringing real people to the table, talk about real issues that we have in this lifetime and in this community. I want to wrap this up by saying shout out to Black Rain Productions, man. The gentleman behind the camera, he makes us look good, he makes us sound good, and it don't happen without him. So I want to shout out to him, and good night.
Chick being over, let me see it. The other niggas losers and I wouldn't wanna be it. Yeah, I'm pushing Pete. This flow to show them they can't fuck with me. Internet niggas, real life, this shit get ugly. Soon as I step in, they give me a tip. Cause they know that the refs know that